Hi, this is Melissa from Under the Radar, where we tell the stories of awesome individuals and what makes them so awesome. In this interview, I sat down with Radio 1 Houston's Integrated Marketing and Sales Manager, Erica Candley. She shared with me her life in Houston post-Katrina and what keeps her motivated to succeed in this industry. I hope you enjoy our conversation, and to see the full interview, go to www.undertheradar.com. Peace and thank you.
But just describing myself in 3 words, again, I've heard that I'm a social butterfly. I'm pretty much the person that can walk into a room, and if it's kind of dead, spruce it up. If it's spruced up and you want to turn it down, I can turn it down. I kind of even kill, but that's one thing. I can kind of adapt, very adaptable, social butterfly, and I'm a people person. I love people. I love people. Part of being in my profession, I deal and I interact with people a lot. So it's just, I think that just comes natural, when it talks about me being a social butterfly and lighting up a room or adapting, it's just who I am. So I hear that a lot.
So being sociable, easy, approachable, you think you're...
I'm very, very approachable, and to be honest with you, I see that in my son. He's 9, but he has, my traits, he has inherited those innocently. Because, people walk up to him and they're like, you get it from your mama and your dad, of course. But yes, I am very warm. People, I just think, the charisma is there automatically. And I think that's the way it should be. You don't want someone to walk up to you and not be approachable for whatever reason. So I keep that at heart because, you just never know who you could be walking up to either. So definitely very approachable, sociable, yes, all those things. I just, bubbly.
I can tell.
Yes.
And you told me you're originally from New Orleans.
Born and raised, New Orleans native. I miss home. Hi home, 504, Wodies, all that good stuff.
But you don't have an accent.
Oh, it comes out.
Oh, it does? Okay.
The baby. It can come out.
Okay.
But I'm here, this is home now. I actually relocated to Houston after Hurricane Katrina, so I'm a new resident of Texas, and I have to claim Texas, but I don't forget where I come from. But, this is home. But originally from New Orleans, born and raised. By way of Houston is because of Hurricane Katrina, but this is home for now.
Did you go to school in New Orleans?
I did. I went to several schools. Elementary school closed down, Epiphany, 7 Ward, so we have wards here. But we claim the 7 Ward. 7 Ward hard heads. There's terms for our wards. So, went to school at Epiphany Elementary School. After Epiphany, I went to Mount Carmel Academy, the private institute, and then I went to Redeemer Seton Academy where I graduated. So that was my transition, and then I went to University of New Orleans, and I also attended Louisiana State University briefly. So that's my educational background. Came to Houston with Katrina, picked up some courses at Texas Southern University, also some courses at HCC. So, have a lot of education in the background. I didn't initially know. My passion, is people. I think I just naturally have a way with people. And to be honest with you, I started off as a psych major when I was in school.
Okay.
So I guess you kind of learn a little bit about people and patterns and personalities and just different things. So I just was able to relate to people, but it wasn't until I came really to Houston, interacted with some folks, and kind of really thought about my profession or my career up until that point. I was working at the New Orleans SMG World at the ticket office. I worked with the New Orleans Hornets. So during that time, I was able to kind of test the water, if you would, and kind of really be like, okay, I can see myself in something like this, but still being very young at the time, not really understanding or really knowing at that point, what do I want to do? Where is my passion? Where is my drive? What does that look like? I'm young. I have time.
Right.
You know, but then as you know, you fast forward, you're like, oh, what happened to that time?
Right.
So it was a number of things, you know. But once I got to Houston, I was able to kind of slow down. After Katrina, of course, you know, you were displaced from a lot of your circles, my family, some of my friends. So we weren't always connected. And the first connection came through social media.
Okay.
Because that's when I first, you know, got on the worlds of your, what was it? Before Facebook, we had
MySpace.
MySpaces of the world no longer exist, right? So MySpace, and then you got your Facebook. But I used those as ways to really connect with people because we were so displaced. And that became an instant gratification at that time. And then not only that, just really knowing that I wanted to do something where I would work with people. So with that being said, I kind of got an opportunity and I started my career working at AT&T Mobility here in Houston. This is around the iPhone crave. Okay, so with the iPhone crave, I was actually at this store right over here. It's called the Experience Store.
Okay.
3773 Southwest Freeway. I still remember the address, oddly enough, because it's so close to where I work now.
Right.
But talk about a job where all you did was meet people. You know, you would think an AT&T store of the world. No, I met a lot of normal folks, professional folks, celebrities, athletes, all came through that Experience Store.
Really?
But what happened with that was that I was able to connect, network with some other people, get better opportunities that were presented to me organically, which was very, very good because still being young, trying to get back on my feet after, you know, being this, you know, new to Houston, trying to meet people, trying to get my life back on track, losing everything, starting on all over again. It was a challenge. But that helped me. That really jump started. Okay, I know I want to be in a field where I'm relating to people, and it just happened to be sales. And to be honest with you, it was my really first sales job. And to be honest, I did really well at it. I did really, really well. I was with AT&T for about 6.5 years, if I'm not mistaken. I held a variety of different positions. But in doing so, I remember we had something called like a President Circle here. They called it over there the Summit. I won 3 years. 3 out of my 6 years there, maybe even 4, but because of the last one, I think that was when I put in my resignation. And that's when I came into the Reach Local world. And Reach Local world is just it was a marketing firm that sold primarily search products for the internet. Google, Google SEO, display, retargeting, very, very basic on a scale. And they had their niche. And back at the time when I started, they were really good in their niche. So I was like, yeah, I like this. This is different, because what happened was, just like cell phones with technology, the world that I was in with marketing, which we called at that point, that company was digital. It was ever changing. And I like the concept of changing and kind of always going with the flow. But that's life, right? It's always changing. Right. And I think the ones that can adapt and move on and change, you know, they're the ones that get it. And it takes some longer than others. Right. But that has helped me because I'm one that can change. It takes a little bit of time. You know, no, it's for me sometimes if I'm looking within myself, that's a little bit harder. Okay. But you know, if it comes down to, okay, Erica, you gotta change. You know, like you gotta lose some weight. I'm like, oh, I don't want to stop eating this. But I understand when it comes to technology and the ways of the world that it's an evolution. It's an evolving process every day. Something's changing. And if you can change with it, I think that's life. So I've embraced that, and marketing has helped me do that. So I naturally was into all the different aspects about marketing. I wanted to learn it. I wanted to get out there, but like I said, it all went back to still people. Because in doing marketing, I always wanted to be out. I wanted to be at this event, networking with this person, meeting this person. What are you doing? How do you do it? And how can I provide some intel based on what I do to better help you and or your business? And it's irony, I guess. When people tell you, it can be something so simple that I say, that they may have heard, but I said it in a different way, and you just totally make their day, that does something. Because it really lets you know that what you're doing is what you should be doing. So that for me is awesome, because I hear that all the time. Like I go, you're great at that. Oh yes. Like, and I'm like, yes, you know, so natural attraction. And I was at Reach Local. I was there for a short stint because that was me getting introduced into the digital world, understanding the digital space. When we talk about media, that's kind of where dollars, where advertisers and companies and entrepreneurs spend their money to see an investment on their business when it comes to the marketing and advertising side. They do it in the digital world. We're also starting to see a shift in that world now. So a lot of times in the past, you'll see you can spend your digital dollars on certain things like social media, but there's so many different digital platforms. But over the years, we have started to see media dollars shift from traditional media, such as radio and television and print, to digital. So people that were spending money, a whole bunch of money on TV, is now spending a smaller amount of money on TV and spending more dollars in the digital world, because the digital world gives them a greater return on their investment. That opens up the platform for social media and mobile marketing and geo-marketing and geo-targeting and e-blast and YouTubes and podcasts and blogging and content. Everything's about content now. Before, back in the day, it was SEM and SEO. It's always changing. But again, if you're one that can change with it, you're probably more profitable because you're getting ahead of the game. Versus some of them do it later than sooner and they fall behind. But again, that's my whole digital synopsis. It's building that relationship, right? It's that me being who I am, that social person, that person that's very approachable. And I tend to educate people first. I'm not going in positioning a sell, because you know I directly don't sell. You know, I have a team of folks that sell, but for me, before selling, if you can educate someone on a piece of information, that's that knowledge is power piece. Because now you're giving them something that they didn't have. You're providing them knowledge and the intel that they need to better make a decision, and you can back that up with supporting whatever. You're building that foundation of trust. It's no different from a marriage, a relationship, anything. You have to build a relationship and you have to build it on trust. And that's something that we do, and that's something that I do with everybody that I deal with or I engage with. I build a rapport, a relationship, and I keep it very trustworthy and transparent. I think that helps, because if they trust me, they're gonna call me, they're gonna lean to what I ask. And 9 times out of 10, there's no reason why they wouldn't take what I'm recommending, because it makes sense to what they're trying to accomplish for their business or for them as an individual. So it's in-depth relationship, and it's building it in a way where they trust you. And if they trust you, it's easier for them to convert, because I'm not selling them on anything. I'm presenting a solution. I'm giving them some education, and I'm providing some facts and resources behind it. Very simple. If it's my opinion, I definitely think it should be somebody that's a people person. Because to me, if you're a people person, you can interact with people. But again, going back to me being a psych major, people say they're a people person, but not always all personalities mesh. That happens a lot in the sales world. Like, I can be out somewhere, see somebody in the store, she recommends a nice dress for me, and I'm like, oh, I don't like that, and then all of a sudden she feels some kind of way because I just didn't like what she thought I would like, and then it's like, her personality is weird. No, it's just difference of opinion, right? But I do think you have to be able to respect a person, and you have to have people skills, and you have to be able to understand the world of people and sales. They work together, but they're separate. I think you have to be a people person, but I also think you have to have a sales ethic and a sales background or some type of experience dealing with sales. And if you don't, and you think you want to do sales, you should get into something where you can see the progression of you being very successful in that career or whatever you choose. Yes. So again, I did a bit of moving. I was with Reach Local, and after Reach Local, I did some stuff, and I was actually reached out. A guy by the name of Stuart Marcus. He was a previous manager at KPRC Channel 2 to gear up their digital department over there. One of the first few senior sales executive that did digital for Channel 2. And this was about 3 or 4 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And that was a great opportunity because, again, you're taking all of the information and knowledge that you have learned from a company that had been in existence and they had their niche and they were good at it. And now this new company is integrating that concept. So you already had to step up. I went in there very confident, very comfortable, and I liked it. I really did. I was at Channel 2 for about a year. And then after being at Channel 2 for about a year, I was approached from Radio 1 that there was a position available and I would be a good fit for that position. And one thing about Channel 2, because it was still relatively new, there was not a lot that you could offer. So that was one of the frustrations of being over there at the time. I'm sure it's changed now because it's changed everywhere now. And it's pretty much feels like cell phones has changed overnight.
Right.
But I was recruited here as a digital sales manager. And I was like, oh my God, great opportunity. And it was just different. So just think about it from my perspective for a moment. I had been in sales, been in marketing, done well, and then TV, now radio. So I felt like it was like, oh, yeah, full circle, triangle, everything was just connected. I had never worked in radio. Was fascinated by radio coming from New Orleans because I had my favorite radio station. And I was like, how do radio personalities, they're like people that keep their job forever. Once they have a job, they only never, I go back home now, the same lady that was on the air when I was a kid, still on the air. I'm like, golden. Exactly, same here, right? Not being from here, but I've heard that the Mad Hatters of the world, the J Max, and the JQ, you know, they have been around. I'm like, God, these guys ain't going nowhere, right? They're golden. Candy Eastman, legend. You know, Uncle Funky Larry. These people have been here forever, right? And they're like local celebrities, if you will. So anyway, I came here, been here. It's going on 2 years now. A little bit of a transition. So like I said, came in on the digital side. DSN was recruited by Radio 1. Very excited when I got here. Still excited. Because like you said, I really get to interact and engage with people. More so than I ever had in the past because of all the opportunities that come with radio. I get to go to events, I get to go to sales calls at schools and panel discussions, and so all that happens and you get to meet people and you get to share information and educate. Some of the things that I really enjoy doing. And that connection kind of keeps me in the world of, okay, what's next? That's the next question. Because it's like, okay, not if, not when, but it will happen, but what's next? Because for me, I love being here, I love networking, I love the people that I engage with, I love providing solutions for our clients, I love adapting to whatever the changes may be when it comes to the digital space, because I get it, I like to kind of dabble in that. And it's been part of my success, and it's been part of the success that I'm able to bring other people. But it's also that, okay, is it going to get to how I felt when I was with AT&T? 6.5 years, several different positions, very successful in all positions, and then I'm like, what?
Right.
But at the end of it all, I really reflect and go back because after Katrina, if you was to ask me if I would have saw myself in this position, no, I wouldn't even thought I would get here. No, I didn't. And looking back, I think that's an accomplishment for me because it was more like, okay, being put in the right place at the right time, meeting certain people, and being a positive person. All of those things, they kind of work together for the good because, like you said, I've worked my way up. It's been upward mobility. It's been great compensation-wise. I've been able to engage, meet new friends, new networking opportunities, business partnerships. All that has come to fruition. I want it to feel like it's never going to end.
Right.
But I think that journey ends and begins with me. So that's kind of where we are. It's like I'm enjoying it. Why it's now, but don't know, another 6 years, maybe we'll be back seeing you again and we'll be somewhere I don't know. I think it was a combination of both. When we talk about Katrina, and you know, I don't think I was affected nearly as bad as many people. Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, the devastation would happen to my city,
right,
where I was from, and the people that I saw that went through enormous. I mean, I now even thinking about it, it was life-changing for some people.
Right.
Some for good, some for bad. But to see, you know, I made it through, and I was one of those girls that, being in New Orleans, not really going so much out of my comfort zone. I thought New Orleans was the best city ever,
right.
And I still do to the core of who I am and where I'm from. But there's so much to see outside of New Orleans. So that's one of the challenges that, you know, I've accepted and I've learned in not living in New Orleans anymore. I was able to go explore other areas of the world, meeting my husband and traveling more with him. It opened up my eyes on things that I was like, oh, wow. And I'm not sure if I would have stayed in New Orleans, if I would have, I just don't know, because it was so long, I was so young, doing different things at the time. But I will tell you, now that I'm where I'm at now, I look at it and say, Katrina definitely played a role in, you know, where I'm in now, but did I see myself? No, it just, it kind of organically happened. But I think that's kind of the way the laws of attraction work, right? But I'm glad, for whatever reason, I'm glad it happened.
Do you think Beyonce's Lemonade Project brought a little more light to what New Orleans culture is, how it's still in a devastating state after Katrina?
It did. It absolutely did. I'm a Beyonce fan. However, it absolutely did, because I go back on my own and I visit, and I'm still appalled at the devastation that's in my city. From a physical standpoint, that some of the houses are still in the condition that it was years ago. Some of the streets are still in the same condition. Some things that closed that I thought were the staple locations in the city that didn't reopen. So you're constantly reminded about the devastation of Katrina. However, I think the city still has a unique way where it survives.
Right.
And that really goes down to the core of the people that are in the city. You know, they find a way. And I just, you know, even with me, I found a way. Being young, thinking where a city you're so close and connected with family and friends, and then you hit with that devastation, you immediately, or it's almost like going to a third world country, which I've never been, but I can only imagine. You're in a place of total discomfort and no knowledge, and you're just like, well, what do I do from here? But I did it, and I've been very successful. I've had great support. I've engaged with great people, and I'm a believer in treat people how you want to be treated. And one thing that has happened by me standing by some of my core morals and values is that I have a good support system, and I have a good interaction with anybody and everybody that I meet, because I know that's determined by my actions. Right. So, miss home, but for now, this is home, and Katrina had something to do with it, as far as sparking that. Okay, I wasn't going to go back in a condition like that. And after being in Houston, I did see the opportunity here. Growing up, that's not something that I thought about in life. Like, I need a mentor. Who has that conversation with you at an age where right? So it's your experiences and your exposure to things around you, or people that have went through a mentorship or a program where you get exposed to see what that looks like. But you're right. Beauty Mentor was something that I was approached with from a marketing standpoint, and Sherelle Ogletree is the actual founder of that. Very, very, very bright woman. Co-founder or chairperson this year is Sylvester Turner's daughter, Ashley Turner. And there's some great, phenomenal women on that that are being honored for this team. And I think that's so important because women in general, we are very important. Like, not like VIP, we're important. We are very, very important to life. We give life.
Right.
Just think about it for a moment. We give life, right? So when you talk about being a woman and what you bring into this world, and all of that comes from you, we're some strong people, strong women. And I think it's important, and I want to say this is more important as women, that we support other women. So with that being said, whether you black, white, Spanish, lower class, middle class, upper class, doesn't matter. If you are another woman, like-minded, we have to support one another. And I see that in the Beauty Mentor Program. I see that in women that I interact with, because one thing about me, like I said, I'm very approachable, but I try to keep who my company is and who I surround myself with positive. Because positive people breed positivity.
Right.
And you want to demonstrate to young women, and I have quite a few millennials on my staff, that there's more out here than putting somebody down or being catty. Those lie. We are more powerful and more impactful when we come together. When we understand we have differences, but we have a lot more in common, that we should be able to do a lot more in our community as examples. And I think that's something we really, really have to strive for. So, you know, for me, I didn't have that figure where someone told me in life, maybe pair yourself with someone that is of this caliber, or that can elevate you or mentor you through your processes, your experiences in life. You know, I have my mom, and my mom is awesome. However, my mom is also a woman that had me very, very young. 16 years old, dropped out of high school, married young, divorced young, remarried, went to school, graduated, but I saw my mom not being mentored. Not to say she wasn't a good parent, because she was a great parent for what she knew at the time. She was able to provide me a great education, you know, get me involved in certain activities, do things with me, spend time with me. But there's those times, like you just said, my mom didn't teach me about a mentor program, right? She had to go through that herself. But I learned from seeing, and I watch, and social media has given us that platform. It is a voice for us to be heard, and a voice for us to connect and empower people.
Okay, oh, Mrs. Candley, get it right.
That's right, Miss Candley.
She's married. Do you have any with your Instagram or Twitter handle where they can?
Yes, they can find me on Instagram at Erica Candley, so it's spelled EricAndley. That's where I am on Instagram. That's where I prefer. That's my primary handle right now. Snapchat, we're gonna leave that alone. I focus right now on Instagram, and there's so many reasons why I love Instagram. They've kind of incorporated, like Facebook or Instagram Live. So I like the Instagram world right now. Snapchat, I know my millennials are there. I'm still trying to get used to the filters, the lips and the air. So I'm not there yet.
Instagram has sounds like a Snapchat.
See, I'm learning. I'm in the digital space. You say? See? I may have seen it, but I was like, oh, how they did that through Snapchat. So one day when I come, I'll be on Snapchat, but right now I'm just like, this is my world. I love the IG world. So Erica Candley, EricAndley. That's where you can find me. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.